Hi. Or do I say hello? Or hey? I'm really not sure how to start this out. So, if any of you are watching, give me an idea. I'm not real comfortable in front of a camera. Well, actually, this is called a webcam. Put me in front of a live audience and I can talk all night. I actually have this passion deep inside of me that I love to talk about. It's not very popular unless you're in some debate, or actually in this last election, it was talked a lot about. Back and forth, back and forth. It's the word abortion. It's not an easy word for many people. It makes a lot of us angry. It keeps a lot of us quiet. I remember in my teenage years, you really didn't hear too much about it. Of course, truth be told, it did become legal in 1973, and I was just a mere teenager at that time. So people didn't really talk about it. You didn't really know that much about it. But today, you're either for it or you're against it. Some like to think that they're in between, but I don't think that's possible, because you can only be for it or against it. You may wonder why I'm so comfortable talking about this subject. It's what I do. No, I don't perform abortions, but what I do is I help women who have made the choice to have an abortion. It's called post-abortion syndrome. Have you heard of it? It's kind of like, well, not kind of, it is. It's like anything that traumatic happens to someone, whether you've been in war or you've seen a horrible accident or something traumatic has happened to you. It's called post-traumatic stress. We have a lot of the same symptoms. I know this to be true because I'm post-abortive. I decided to end my child's life over 20 years ago. I didn't talk about it for a long time. Then one day something triggered me. Something. I call it the Holy Spirit. He said, you got to deal with this. You can't go forward until you do. And so I did. And so now, that's what I do. I help other women. I volunteer at a crisis pregnancy center. I've been there for the last 7 years. And I've seen a lot of women who carry a lot of guilt and shame and condemnation. As a matter of fact, I had a young girl who called me, young as in probably 20. She called me and wanted to meet with me at the center. I remember her sitting across from me. She couldn't even look at me. Her head was down the whole time, looking at the floor. She began to tell me her story. And as she was telling me her story about her abortion, I could see the tears falling from her eyes. It was really hard for her. She couldn't even speak the word child or baby. It was my abortion. And I'll never forget at the very end of her story how she looked at me with her sad eyes and her face completely wet from tears. And she said, I knew it was going to hurt, but no one told me it would hurt this bad. No one told me that neither. No one told me that the emotions that I would feel after I walked out of that clinic on November 12th, 1989. And I hope to share it with you. No, I will share it with you. That'll be my next one. I'll tell you my story. I call it now God's story because now He uses it to help others. It's not a popular subject, and I'm sure that I'm going to have some people make some awful, horrible comments. That's okay, I'm used to it. You see, I don't fear what men will say, but I do fear what God will say. So I hope you'll return. I hope that you'll stop back and begin this journey with me. Stories, my story, other stories, and just the thought, maybe be a little open-minded about what it feels like, what it would feel like if you yourself hadn't experienced it. I'm hoping by sharing these things that it may change your point of view. See you soon.